What's up, guys? We are back. Peach Fuzz episode 15. We'll call this second round edition. Can't believe it's already here. Elite Eight.
Yeah, flying.
Yeah, insane. Like now we're already looking at summer events, and I'm like, that starts at the end of this month. We start with a tournament at Lake Point.
Yeah, I was talking about that with parents like all week this week. Like, I was like, yeah, like May 20th, I think May 28th, I'm there, and then I don't think I leave till October. So we're about to get into it. So like, I'm just trying to enjoy the playoffs as much as I can because this is like the favorite time. I mean, don't get me wrong, like summer is the best. Love summer. I can't beat it.
Can't beat
so,
high school baseball.
So it just doesn't stop for a year straight.
And I will say, watching one game over trying to watch 4 games or 2 games or 8 games is much much more enjoyable.
You say that until we talk about Wednesday when we have we have nowhere to be in so many places at the same time. So
we'll be at we're coming to every game.
We're gonna just one inning in every game. We're just gonna drive the state the whole day.
Yeah, it really stinks, man. It really stinks. Like I don't even know where to start. Like we've already started talking about trying to get out where we're gonna be at Wednesday. You know, selfishly, we're hoping for game 3s.
Oh my God, there has to be game 3s. Like there has to be. Like I mean, not for y'all's sake. I mean, obviously, get your sweeps in when you can, but for our sake, some game 3s would be fantastic. Anywho, we're gonna be out to as many games as we can this week. I'm fired up. I'm like fitting in non-playoff games on my days off now. Like I was at Tech today. Where me and Avery are doing a game later this week in Rome, you know.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it's just
I need to peek over at the GIAA and then the GISA stuff too and see what
I even thought about that. Like
they're supposed to be starting playoffs soon. I saw guys like Citizen Christian. Yeah. Those guys getting ready to go for the playoffs. So I need to check in on that, try to bounce around some of those games too. And I think they're later. We were talking about it too. So that might be an opportunity to jump in on some more games even closer in the season. But I was just talking with who was I talking with? I was talking with somebody about all of our up north states, like Minnesota and these places are like just now starting high school baseball. And we're approaching the final games, which is crazy. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into these. And guys, we'll recap some of our games that we were at as we go. There we go. All my brackets disappeared, so I'll have to get them back in here as we go. We'll jump right into this 6A matchup. You start off with Lowndes versus Brookwood, and man, Lowndes, the key for them has been Brinson Roundtree. I mean, he is back-to-back starts of his life, it appears. 2 of the best starts he's had, and couldn't ask for a better time.
I think this is a matchup. It's big time. Brookwood with a big series win, beating a team they faced in the Final Four last year in Grayson, which was huge. They're getting some big pitching at the right time. Obviously, you just mentioned Brinson Roundtree for Lowndes, getting the pitching of his life. But we saw some big pitching as well from Brookwood. Joseph Soto and Maddox Rosinski have been fantastic for them. So just a big starts for those guys in this last series, have been huge. And I think it's been the case throughout every series. There's been some massive pitching from guys in key moments, from guys you haven't talked about a lot, whether it's freshmen to senior. It's been huge for a lot of guys.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously Brookwood traveling to Lowndes definitely plays into, the Vikings' favor. That's definitely I don't know. I haven't been down there yet. I know you have. I don't know if I call it hostile. I don't know if I call it rowdy. What's it like down there?
It's an intimate setting, and then they have like a not stadium style crowding, but like bleachers on both sides. Yeah. You can fill it up pretty well, and then there's probably 75 chairs already around the concourse before the game starts 2 hours. So you get there, and like I couldn't even find a spot when I got there for the play. It was before the playoffs last year, and I was like trying to squeeze in between the smallest people because they're already set up and ready to go. So I wouldn't say it's rowdy, but it's definitely an intimate setting, and they pack it out for every game.
I just love their baseball.
They love their baseball. It's like so far as you can get in South Georgia. So like it's just what they have down there at Lowndes. It's they've been to the state championship the last 2 years and won 2 straight titles, and having a chance to go back to the Final Four. I'm pretty sure they're gonna show out for this one. It's gonna be a big crowd for Brookwood to see after traveling 4 hours. plus.
Yeah, and you saying that too. I think Coach Page is probably relying on that a lot. At this point in the playoffs. I think Cherokee was their biggest test to start the bracket, and obviously they've been rolling since then. So yeah, I like that matchup against Brookwood. I think it's going to come down to pitching, just like it has the last couple. Mill Creek held Lowndes' offense to somewhat a little bit. I mean, Kerrigan went off 4 hits for him, but yeah, same thing here. I think they're going to have to keep the right guys off base. Brookwood's kind of the same way. You get a lot of tough outs at the top with Archie and Rodzinski, Ben, and Maddox. And then you get guys at the bottom like Diego that can flip the lineup back over. So that's going to be a good matchup. Moving along, Etowah Parkview. So funny enough, I actually jumped over to Etowah for the first time this season, surprisingly. Have not been there after my Altoona game. Game 2 was kind of getting out of hand, and I was like, I really want to see Carrollton. I actually didn't get to see them since Georgia Dugout Club. So ran over there, got there in like the second inning, I think, and as I'm walking down the stairs, Matthew Sharman hits an absolute nuke over the scoreboard. It was like Carrollton was up early 1-0, and then obviously Etowah's offense got rolling. But I don't even know how they're going to get the amount of people in that stadium. Obviously they have the bleachers down the line by the indoor, but that place is going to be insane.
Yeah, I mean it's on my short list of places to be on Wednesday. So like I'm already trying to like strategize where to be there and talking to the people I need to talk to get that set
and that's what I was worried about. And luckily I found like a little nook on the Carrollton side just to get hitters, and then jumped in the back to see Curcio kind of close it out for them. But I mean, with Parkview, I know Parkview's going to have fans there. Avery, they've had fans at all year round.
They're
right?
crazy. They're
bro. I have to sit Indian style already for pitching video there, but like, I mean, I don't have to, but like, you guys know I'm kind of a sicko with this.
And it's
so
kind
like,
of
I have
a danger
to do
zone.
It. Oh yeah, it's definitely
a danger zone. They have that white line. They have that yellow line there for a reason. And we'll go ahead and get it out of the way. Loganville guys, did you check on your boy Avery getting smoked?
Smoked.
Loose net when he.
I was in the first inning too, so I just had to eat it and move on.
This man said, "This man texts in the group chat says I got smoked," just like so nonchalant, and then drops.
I thought he was talking about the pitcher throwing.
Yeah, Huddy couldn't figure it out what had happened. I actually thought he didn't care that Avery got smoked for a minute.
Yeah, I'm just glad he didn't get me in the nose.
And then he drops the picture, and this man's got an egg on his cheek, and I'm like, oh my god! So
you like see the stitching where it got me.
Yeah,
Loganville.
Fully smoked.
Let's get those nets tightened up for our boy Avery. So yeah, I mean, this matchup. We'll get back to the matchup. I mean, obviously it's Etowah's offense versus Parkview's pitching. You know what you're going to get from Sharman and Rose. I think you know what you're getting out of the pen and Curcio and a couple other of those guys. The lineup. You know what you're getting from Etowah. I think Parkview. Porter was absolutely lights out, literally perfect game, right? Last outing.
I think I had an error, so it was a no hitter. But yeah, he was
near
fantastic.
perfect, 60 something,
near perfect,
60 in 6 innings.
13 Ks.
So that's definitely got to set the tone for Parkview,
and that's a hitterish lineup for Hillgrove, man. Like it's not like they're young and they have experience throughout, so like they have guys that can get on base, and then just to shut the lineup like that down in the playoffs.
Yeah, not a lot of big not a lot of big power guys.
But scrappy, dude. Just get on base, just slap and get around, and to no hit him is good. I mean, obviously the defense must have played well behind him, but he struck out 13-6, so obviously he was fanning guys. And I've seen him get on rolls like that before. I mean, I saw him in the fall. I think went 11 straight, 9 on a slider. So I mean, he can get on these hot streaks and really fan guys. So I think having that confidence rolling into playing at Etowah, obviously we know about that park. So having your best stuff going into that matchup is going to be huge, and I think that's going to give Porter and the rest of the Parkview a lot of confidence, especially when they put up a bunch of runs. And I think Malachi had 3 singles in the series. Got walked a bunch of times, and they still scored a bunch of times. So when he's not even going off, they can score runs, and you're going to need that when Etowah can put 8 to 10 in an inning, kind of whenever they feel like it. So I think it's going to be.
These are definitely 2 teams that thrive in this type of environment too. So I think that can play into.
I feel like I just can't miss it. Like I haven't seen Parkview all year. It's Parkview Etowah. I mean, it's going to be electric. It's not Final Four, but God, Wednesday just sucks. I've had a FOMO for a week now. And I'm not. It's not even here yet. What are we doing? But
yeah,
I'm fired up for that, and I think
it's gonna be fun. I think Andres will probably come out pretty juiced up, and then outside of that, you get Reitenhauer or Dalen Teasley Jones.
I just don't know how you're not gonna have juice in this game. Like, you gotta have your biggest stones when you get out on the mound or at the plate in these matchups.
Yeah, and poor umpires. They better be on their A game as well. They're gonna be all over those guys.
It's a small backstop there. There's like not much space. It's tight. Like tight.
You can hear everything.
There's gonna be people up in the parking lot. Like it's gonna.
Hanging over the fence. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
To see it, yeah.
We'll see what happens there. Moving on, Harrison Walton. Like we kind of mentioned, guys, our 6 to 4A recap did just drop. We posted it not too long ago. We recapped all these 6A to 4A Sweet 16 matchups. And I think Harrison West Forsyth was one that really matched up really well. Like we talked about, a senior heavy lineup versus upper class heavy lineup. It was going to come down to the arms, and it was kind of a slugfest in those two. Harrison ended up getting them there. Walton, kind of same way. Offense absolutely exploded. Logan Weidman is quickly becoming one of the biggest names in the state. The power numbers are getting a little bit ridiculous. His brother Ryan is, gaining all kinds of MLB draft helium, and Logan's following suit right behind him. So the Weidman name is getting thrown around a lot right now, whether that's with college scouts with Logan or pro scouts with Ryan. So really cool to see like that over there at Walton.
And I think some bigger schools now are starting to look at Logan for what Ryan. I mean, Western Kentucky is a great school, and he's put up numbers there, but he probably could have been at a Power 4 school last year, And like I think schools missing out on that, and now having his younger brother put up these ridiculous numbers with probably more raw power in the frame. I don't think he's the same type of.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think Ryan put up the power numbers.
Power is not the same as what Logan has. It's probably 70 raw. I was talking to one of the coaches about it this past week, like about where he wants to go to school, because I'm trying to figure out where these guys are going to go down this 26th class. But I mean, it's just ridiculous. And to put it up in these big moments, he's done it all year long. I think he's hit close to 400. That's 10 bombs now. I think he had a clutch double to win the game in the game to go along with the crazy stat line that he put up. So
nice.
It's as big as it gets. He's going to have a big summer ahead of him, playing for 6'3". So I think it's big for him, and right time, right place right now for that Walton squad as they move into, I think, going on the road to Harrison there after a big comeback win for them in their series.
Yeah, that's another matchup toe-to-toe type of game there. So I think that one goes 3. I would say all these go 3 if I'm just saying, but I think that's definitely one that we could see go 3. But yeah, moving on to North Gwinnett. You were over there for McEachern a little bit. Ryan Hall was great. Jake Gaskill went off, it appeared.
Yeah, game 1, he went 4 for 4, 2 bombs, ended the game in a run rule with a 2-run shot, both no doubters. Had an infield single, and he had a single down the line for an RBI. I think he stole 5 bags in the day as well. Had 2 hits in the second game. Ian Bicknell had a big day with 2 couple doubles. Nathan Schaefer smoked a home run to the pull side off Chubb as well. Turned around 93 for a loud home run that kind of set the tone for game 2. After pulling off a big win in game 1, a run rule, so they kind of came out hot in game 2, facing power. Chubb came out with the best stuff. Some of the best stuff I've seen from him, and they're ready for it, especially with the fastball. Schaefer turned it around. I think he still generated 21 whiffs, which is ridiculous. Punched out 11 and 4 and a third. Again, ridiculous numbers for the sophomore. But the North Gwinnett lineup is just deep. It's experienced. 17 seniors on this roster is kind of ridiculous. I think they're kind of built for this time of the year. Like you mentioned, Ryan Hall was really good on the mound. Got a lot of soft contact. The slider looked really good. Hit 94 in the first. Held velo throughout. Up to 86 in the slider. Really filled the zone, was getting zone misses with that, and I think 4 Ks as well. But yeah, deep team, deep lineup. They have pitching. They have guys they can use that they really didn't have to use in this series. So I think it's going to be a big one. Obviously, that North Paulding team has been battle tested so far in the playoffs with the matchups they had to face with Buford and Tift. So I think they know what to do to win these series. So I think that's going to be a really fun one there, especially with North Gwinnett getting it at home.
Yeah, and I think North Paulding, jumping down to North Paulding, personally, I think they've had the hardest road in this bracket to start the season. You get Tift and then Buford. I think that's, really going to show what Coach Richardson's doing over there with those guys. very similar team to North Gwinnett in the lineup wise. A lot of upper class guys. You got Nathan Rowland, Brightwell, who seems to be swinging it really well right now. Yinley, Cade Cox, who's just going to always hit. So I think they match up pretty well, versus North Gwinnett with guys like, Bicknell and Halcomb and Ryan Hall. So I think it's definitely going to be a really good matchup there. Raiden Jones really stepped up for North Paulding in that game 1 versus Buford. Kind of a bounce back start for him from the one at Tift, and that kind of set the tone. And him and then Yinley were both able to shut down that Buford offense for the most part. But that definitely won't be the last we see of Buford. Super young, excited to see them the next couple of years. They've got a lot of good stuff coming through the pipe for them. So
same thing with McEachern as well.
Oh yeah.
That team has,
and a start like that's great for Chubb, especially with the games he's probably going to pitch in this summer with the amount of eyeballs on him. Having something left in the tank to get back, for your junior year is going to be really impressive from him.
And I think the most impressive thing I've seen from him this year, I've seen I think 3 or 4 starts, but I was able to lock in and see his pregame bullpen, and he's got a routine. He takes it seriously. He's in the zone in there, and that's a different level of readiness that I didn't know he had at this level of his game. I've mentioned before, he's made such progression in all levels of his pitchability on the mound, and it goes down all the way down to his pregame warmups and his bullpens. And it was really good to see he was pitching with intent in that game, and he was ready for these big matchups. Like you mentioned, summer's here, so he's going to be pitching with a ton of eyeballs behind him with August right around the corner and that 27 class on the horizon for a lot of schools.
Yeah, definitely. And we got a glimpse of that in the junior future games when we had him, dude. He was dogging guys, wanting guys to get into the game. We were playing Michigan in the semifinals. A bunch of kids he played against on the hit dogs or with on the hit dogs. And that was Tyler Van Sumeren, Ben Fussell, Reese Grodman. So it was we were ready. That was a super competitive team. So that was definitely something that, kind of caught my attention early on with him, like you mentioned. But yeah, a lot of good stuff happening in 6A. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I think the North Paulding game, probably the most, biggest game. I mean, they're all big games, but I don't know. I something about that one just kind of screams experience, and
it's going to be good,
they're going to go toe to toe, back and forth. Not a lot of young guys in either lineup. I think Wesley Mowring's probably the youngest guy in there. I know North Gwinnett's got some younger guys that are sneaking in here and there, but yeah, I like that one. Obviously, Parkview's need a couple young guys to step up. Brookwood's pretty experienced as well. So yeah, a lot of good stuff happening in 6A. This is kind of a given in this classification in the state of Georgia. So yeah, anxious to see how this one shakes out.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man.
Moving on to 5A. I like this 5A bracket. It's got a couple sleepers that we threw in our early preview articles, still in the mix. 3 of them with River Ridge, Haversham Central, and Creekview. But big win for Effingham County over Winterboro, taking on River Ridge team. Man, I know both of you guys have got to see that River Ridge team. Ian, I know that was your kind of first look at a couple of those young guys for them.
Yeah.
But you kind of like what they're doing over there.
Yeah, man, it's going to be good. I think they have a nice blend of experience and youth. Hunter Hollier, shortstop for them, sophomore. Really like the first look at that this week. 6'2", 180. Lean body, high waist. Moved well in the infield. Good actions with the arm. It looked good across the infield. Took some really good swings in game. It's compact with some leverage to it. Drove a ball to right center with limited ease and drove it to the wall. I mean, it was caught for an L7, but the swing was there. It's good to see. Obviously, they have some depth at the top. Josh Malucci looks really good. KJ Hart's been a two-way threat for them all year long. I think he had a double and a triple in the series. The ball just kind of comes off his bat a little bit different. And then Connor Johnson, man, uncommitted junior that I hadn't seen. I know Avery, you got to saw him shove pretty recently. He came out, it was 80-82, really spun a breaking ball and mixed in a changeup as well and just filled it up. Competed. This was a Dunwoody team that I think won 24 games in the regular season. Obviously, 1 seed in the tournament. It's a tough lineup. They have a ton of upper-class guys at the top. I think 1 through 8 is all juniors and seniors. So I think they mixed in some young guys in this one. Tyler Lufkid was a guy that I saw at third base, really made some plays and looked good at the bat for them as well. But yeah, man, Connor Johnson was kind of the big standout for me this week. That a guy that I hadn't seen before. Really filled it up, was ready to go. The pitchability was there. It competes. There's going to be a jump with the velo, I believe. 6 foot, 155. So he has some room to put some weight on. An 84, 86 with that breaker can compete at the collegiate level. So I think he's got a chance. And he's got a big summer ahead. I mean, with a couple big starts in the playoffs now ahead of him, and with Ridge in the Elite Eight, there's probably more we're going to see of him as we move ahead with this big series with Effingham County.
Yeah, Coach Runyon does a really good job over there with those guys. And I hate we haven't got to see this Effingham County team. We were trying to get down there for when they played Harlem, but just looking at, peeking over a couple of their things, they got Jaquez King, who we have gotten to see in the past at a couple of events, senior for them, hitting 374 on the year. Caleb Penley, a junior for them, hitting, close, nearly 400 for them as well. So it appears that they're pretty senior heavy. Let's see, Luke Edwards looks to be their kind of go-to guy on the mound, senior for them with a sub-1 ERA. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. Obviously, River Ridge goes to Effingham, right? I think
yes.
a ton of guys got to go south. So that shakes some things up. Anytime you're playing, it's a little bit hotter down there. It's a little bit more humid. That stuff does come into play, especially with these double headers and especially with grip in the ball and, that type of thing. It does change the game down there. Myself playing in the Panhandle, that type of weather is no joke. It's different for sure.
No doubt.
Sliding on down, man, Habersham Central guys, they're rolling. They face a tough Lee County team round one, and then they jump to South Paulding, who's been playing really good ball and have an arm in Carson Abnick that did get the shutout against them in game 2. But Habersham Central came back. Maverick Chitwood started game 3 for them, and it just seems like everything's clicking for them. They got a big who was that came back? One of their guys came back from an injury, so it seemed like he kind of gave them a little bit of a spark plug type energy to get them rolling. But they have a lot of good pieces. Ian, you got out to see them, right?
Or no, I was there.
Yeah. Who we got over there? Micah Huff, Chitwood.
I love the top of their order with Chitwood at the top.
It's scrappy.
Creed Barrett in the 2-hole.
Yep.
Really good frame and super sneaky strength. He really sprayed the ball to all fields and just really good actions at the plate as a whole.
Yeah, and they play with a lot of energy there too. Yeah. So that type of team comes into play in the playoffs. They seem like they play really well together. Coaches, seem like they've done a great job with those guys. I've got to see them in back-to-back years at their place against a couple good teams. So, keep an eye out for them. It's one of those lineups that is just they can just kind of hit you to death. Like you said, there are some big bats in there with Micah Huff and Creed Barrett that could run into one, but
Callum Spivey had a big week as well. I think he had a home run, a double, 4 RBIs in that lineup. So he was a hitting as well in that lineup. There's depth throughout. We just mentioned Chitwood can get off and go for 4 tonight with 3 stolen bases, and 3 runs.
Yep, snag one. Really that kid's made probably some of the best catches I've ever seen. It's like a highlight reel. He's robbed a couple diving plays, so he was on that team as well with Chubb and Fussell and those guys. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, they're matching up against a Noonan team that has the big ace in Hayes McGinnis as well, similar to South Paulding. Lineup wise, I see Noonan having a little bit more firepower than South Paulding did. South Paulding was a bunch of kind of scrappy hitters that can kind of single you to death as well. But Noonan, obviously, Dax Gilby leading the way from them. Ian, you've got to see them a lot. I know you haven't got to see Habersham Central, but what you think on this matchup?
Yeah, Kilby getting hot at the right time. 5 hits last series, had a grand slam as well to kind of really set the tone in game 1. Jaden Hill has been huge for them, being the game 1 arm in the last 2 series. They've been able to throw Hayes in game 2, and I think Jaden's went at least 5 or 6 in both innings. I think he went a complete game this past one, but he's gave him at least 5 in both starts, so that's been huge. Cole Gilmore's big in that lineup. Brody Campbell is starting to swing it really well. He can kind of get hot at the right time and put balls all over the park and change the game. So I think that lineup's deep. We talked about Hayes on the mound, but at the plate, he's probably just as electric. I think he hit over 440.
Truitt mixed in there too.
Exactly. So there's depth. They've won a ton of games this spring. It's a team that seems to get hot at the right time, and then they've done it in the playoffs now with back-to-back sweeps, and now they get a team in Habersham that again has got 2 upsets on their plate that they're rolling in with some momentum. But I think Noonan's got a chance to pull out another one here to move to the Final Four with the chance to actually get to the state championship for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I agree on those for sure. And And without further ado, the matchup we were all waiting for. We talked about it right when the bracket got set, and the Bears have to travel up to Marietta for this one. Good luck getting in this place. The whole town of Warner Robins is going to be up here for that. So I know, if we get a guy over there, we have a little nook underneath the bleachers over there by the Pope dugout that somebody will be sneaking in. Avery, you got your first playoff experience, right? Last year for this one?
Yep. Yeah, there's Houston, they're pretty fired up for this one, I can imagine, because they were last year. It was kind of controversial, and it was
that's right. I do remember that. You may or may not have had like a little bit of a video of it.
Yeah.
Allegedly. This, I mean,
maybe.
I mean, Final Four matchups the last 2 years, two of the best teams in the state all year long. Obviously, Pope has been on a ridiculous winning streak, not losing since February. I don't even know how many games in a row it is now. I think 24, 25 in a row. The Houston County lineup has looked ridiculous to start the playoffs. Kendall Jackson, Vic Gahn, Isaiah Gallison have really just taken off. They've all hit all spring long, but as soon as the playoffs hit, it's kind of been a different story, and they've just scored a ton. Kendall's hitting for power. Vic's got a double. It seems like every night they're going to steal five or six bags combined from the two of them. Score 6 runs. I don't know how many runs they scored in the past series. I think I had it wrote down here before.
They had
9 runs. Yeah, 9 runs combined between those 3.
Yeah,
which is pretty ridiculous. They're going to continue to get on base. Big starts from Will Allen and Max Wilhide once again. And I think that one getting to 3 games is what I need for my life. I mean, it has a chance. It has a chance to get there. I was talking to some guys that are
you'll have to get
currently playing.
Yeah,
I know. I was talking to some guys that are currently playing for Georgia Tech this afternoon. They're hoping for a game 3 because they play on Tuesday. So they play on Wednesday. So they would be stoked to have a game 3 there.
The whole Georgia Tech squad.
The whole team. I mean, the whole team played for these 2 rosters. Not the whole team, but a good grip of those guys. So they're fired up for that matchup. So they got out last week, and I think a few went and saw the Brunswick, Houston County there with a few guys, alumni from those schools.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's fun, man. That series is electric. We've been talking about it forever. As soon as the first playoff show we talked about was the first matchup we met.
I know, that's what.
These are crazy state championship worthy matchups in Elite 8. And I think it's going to be
rematch from 23 Burris' year. They played.
No, last 2 years, I believe. Yeah.
That's when Stutzer would have had 2 bombs if they were playing anywhere else in the country. He hits 2 balls dead center, led off the game with a triple. So that place is going to be electric. Who after Garrett? Who's Pope been going on the mound? 2 lefties.
Garrett starts game 2. It's usually Nick Boborowski in game 1. So he's a pitcher. I mean, he shoved this past week. Went 7, 11 Ks. Shutout. So I mean, the stuff's there. He's got good pitchability.
Dawson Jones.
Yeah, they have Dawson Jones as well. Matt Levis in there. So they have depth on the pitching, and obviously that lineup can really, really hit. And I think he can match up with that Houston County lineup that can also really, really hit.
Yep. Looking forward to that one. Like we said.
Oh man, Creekview, man. First Elite 8, you got to go
Grizzlies.
to Loganville, which is just probably the most playoff tested rosters team school in the state, maybe. 3 straight state championships. We mention it every playoff episode, but yeah. That's going to be a tough one for the Grizzlies. They have the pitching to do it. Obviously, they're battle-tested, making it into these 2 series. I think they were one of the last teams in 5A to get in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
They were, yeah. I mean, it almost came down to it did come down to a 3-way tie, or could have came down to a 3-way tie with them, Sequoia, and Woodstock. So it was down to the wire for them to get in.
So, yeah, this is the definition of playing with house money. And now you get to face a Loganfield team when you have pitching and you can compete. So I think you come into this with a ton of confidence. Obviously, Loganville, Avery, you just saw him. I don't know how much you remember with the mild concussion you had, but But yeah, I mean, obviously we know what they can do. We know what they could do at this time of the year with the type of baseball that they play. They're not going to make mistakes. They're as well coached as you're going to find. So it just all comes down to the pitching, and they have it now with Jordan Johnson, Jake Bowen at the top, who continue to just stack quality starts after quality starts. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one. I think should be some electric pitching matchups we should get in that one with Mikowski and Johnson possibly in game one.
For sure.
Yeah, that was going to be really fun. Like you said, they're really well coached, and just with Johnson and Bowen at the top, it's pretty electric. And I like their three. I saw Curtis Lindstrom, uncommitted senior for them, I believe. Saw him at Georgia Dugout Club. He's been up to 92 as of late, I believe. So can spin it really well. That's another good arm for them as well.
Caden House, like raking right now at the top of the lineup. I think he had 5 hits, had a 4-hit game in the series against Greenbrier as well. Excuse me.
Yes, and it's tough to pitch to guys like Howell and Gorvette, those scrappy left-handed hitters that could easily run into 1-2, and they can both really run, put them in the gap, play a really good shortstop, and then you got Gorvette in center field. So yeah, I mean, some of the guys over there ask me about Loganville. I'm like, yes, they're beatable, but they're Loganville. It's like you can't bet against them.
You could say you could beat them, but then you just got to do it, And that's the hard part is actually beating them. Like on paper last year, like going to the state championship, again, on paper, that Cartersville team stacked up to beat any team in 5A in the state all year round. They went into that series probably favorites, and they should have probably won. But again, Loganville did what they needed to do to win that series. They came up with huge plays at huge moments, and that's what they do seemingly always. So again, you can't count that team out. And dang, that Final Four matchup they have to face, from going Creekview to the winner of Pope Houston County, is just brutal for that right side of the bracket.
Yeah, that's tough for sure. And I think a key for Creekview is going to be I got to see Neil Stam on the mound, and then for game 3, a senior going to Lander. And I think he really thrived in that moment. I think that with these playoff games and the uptick in velo he's had and just some of the pure stuff that he's found as of, over the last, year or so, we've kind of been following him and it's really jumped. So I think it's going to be key for him. They got guys like Clay Herring coming out of the pen. They're going to be really big. Jackson Stanley and Hudson Stanley put on a defensive clinic over at Woodward the other day. When I saw that, it was like, I was texting you, it was like every single ball hit was like in the 6 hole, and it was either Jackson diving backhand, Hudson like short picking one and throwing it over to first. And that was like one of his first starts as a freshman at third. He's been DH in a while, but that was one of his first starts. So that was really cool to see, both future gamers for us. They're going to be huge in the lineup. Jackson's kind of the catalyst there. Brody Carter had a huge night when I saw him against Woodward. PJ Fitzpatrick is going to be on the mound, but also played a big part in that lineup. So
I think he had a 4-for-4 game this week. Had 6 on the week total. Really just kind of hitting in the middle of that order for them, kind of pacing it as they get guys on.
Yeah, they need the Penrod brothers to get going. Alex just missed a bomb to left center against Woodward. So, yeah, it's a fun matchup. We'll see what happens. I will mention Carson Ray on Woodward. I know you got to get out to see them earlier, but, man, he really looked good. Had 2 hits, a bomb, and a single. Really hard single to the left side. One of the top uncommitted shortstops in this class right now. Looked really good pregame. Yeah. Really good one there. He was on. We kind of found him late. He was on a junior future games team back a couple years ago, but he's really filled out, added some physicality to that already. Kind of super athletic frame. So looking forward to seeing him this summer as well.
Yeah, and going over to Greenbrier, I was really impressed with sophomore Trip Fowler on the mound for them.
Oh yeah.
He was like 85, 86, could spin a really good slider and curveball, and he just kind of filled it up and just left it all out there. And it's going to be another good one to kind of monitor over these next couple of years. Really good frame as well. I think he's 6'1".
Oh, yeah. High-waisted.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was a junior future gamer for us, and it was – I think he expected to be in that spot, but he didn't know if he was going to get the chance to step up and be that guy for them on the mound, and that he got the chance early, and he really ran with it. So, he pitched, like we said, pitched a couple big-time playoff matchups, had a good one against Kennesaw Mountain. You say he had a really good one against Loganville, facing one, really tough lineup to pitch against. So, he's a sophomore definitely to keep an eye on at Greenbrier the next couple of years. Let me get need to throw this 4A. I don't know why they all disappeared.
There's some good ones in 4A, man.
There is, for sure. We started off with Wayne County and Kell, man. We talked about this Kell team kind of early in the year. We got to see them, back-to-back weeks at Georgia Dugout Club. There's a lot of pieces in there. They got a pretty good draw. They faced a really tough hitting Central team. Central just kind of ran out of steam on the mound. They matched up pretty well with them, but they do have that little extra on the mound to kind of keep them where they're at. But match up against a tough Wayne County team that we got to see early in the year as well.
Yeah, I mean, Kell getting real big contributions from their sophomore group they have. Obviously, we've talked about Evan Brand a ton, but Preston Bottoms and Patrick Honeyman have been big recently, come through with big hits. I think Bottoms had a home run and double this one, a home run and a double, I think 3 RBIs in the series. Zach Simmons maybe had his best start of the year in game 2, went 6 and a third, I believe, or 6 innings. Could be wrong on that. One run, 5 Ks, really shoved against a tough Central lineup like you just mentioned. It's not a ton of power in the lineup, but the bat to ball is insane.
Tough to pitch to. Yep.
Yeah, from top to bottom, it's kind of like a Hillgrove team that we talked about earlier. And getting that kind of start right now to heading into the Elite Eight, and you face a Wayne County team that I think battled against Falvey Branch. They had a tough one game. It went 3 games, had to stick one out 1-0 in game 3. Huge start from both of them and both pitchers in that one. Javi Ojeda having to go for Flowery Branch and really left it out there for them. Going I think 5 2/3 with just 1 run. That's huge for him. But Wayne County pulling it out and now having some confidence against a young Kell team here in the Elite Eight.
Yeah. And just, starting to look across, like these next 3 matchups are no joke. These are 3 massive matchups. A St. Pius team that you've got to see a couple times this year. Cartersville, could be one of the hotter teams in the playoffs right now with the way they've been playing as of late.
And we talked about their pitching depth as well. It's as deep as you're going to find in the playoffs. So obviously Andrew Purdy is on freak mode right now. I think he went 6 for 6 in this past series with three doubles, 3 bombs. They couldn't get him out of the leadoff spot. He also went 6 shutout on the mound with 10 Ks. So he's kind of doing anything. You think he's hitting 589 now in the spring so far. He's got a 90% contact rate. The power's there. He's got 9 Ks and 129 plate appearances or something silly like that. So it's kind of been an insane year for him. He's kind of putting it all together at the right time. We talked about him on here about being the man this year, or I might have wrote it up in his report about he had to be the guy going into this year after losing some big seniors from that team, and he's doing it. And he's carrying this team to an Elite Eight where they could face a St. Pius team that has a really good lineup that's got some depth. But I think Cartersville has the team to beat in this series, even on the road here at St. Pius.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough environment too. That St. Pius Park, it's tight behind the dish, really tight. And you know how those Cartersville fans, they're used to spreading out. They're kind of bigger park. So that place is going to be packed out. That both lines, I'm sure, are going to be full.
It's going to be a very similar environment, like to where to Pope, honestly, with the type of like intimate setting they have. It's kind of similar parks there. The spot I can get at St. Pius might be the smallest spot I've seen in the state, but I've squeezed in there. Luckily, got blessed last time I was there, so that's going to be a big one. I think that's a sneaky one. I think it's going to be a really good series there. Mikkel Stevenson's been awesome. He's been able to pitch game 2 for them these first 2 series. So he's came into the games with some confidence, been able to pitch loose, and he's put up big numbers. So I think he's rolling into this one, knowing what he has to do to lead their team into a series win against a quality Canes team from Cartersville.
Yeah, definitely. And moving on, top half of here, similar to the Hoco Pope one in 5A, same quad, everything. We get the Blessed Trinity Marist matchup. Both teams playing great. Marist is playing really, really great as of late. They were kind of on that similar run to Pope to kind of finish the year, kind of playing their best ball at the right time, but run into a Blessed Trinity team that, I think they kind of go toe-to-toe mound-wise and lineup-wise. I think it's going to come down to the mound. I mean, I know it's going to come down to pitching on most of these matchups, but this one especially, I think it's definitely going to come down to the pitching.
Yeah, I mean, if BT throws strikes, they have a chance to win any game they're in. You know, that's the biggest thing for them, just being in the zone. If they start walking guys, it starts to get a little scary. So throwing strikes for the starters on that team is going to be huge early in the series. Obviously, Maris is putting up, I think, double-digit runs in every game so far this playoffs. BT had 2 tight ones against Cedartown in round 1, I think 6-4 in both those, but then the offense really got going in round 2, and they had 2 shutout wins in that one. The Zags are starting to really pick it up at the top of the lineup. I think they both had doubles and RBIs in the last series. Terrence Bowen's hitting well right now. So I think she's going to, like we mentioned, it's going to come down to the pitching. Obviously, the 2 at the top for both give their teams a chance to win either game, whether it's Cam Novak or Justin Contreras on the BT side or David Albert and Jamie Weissens on the Maris side. So those 4 right there give a chance. There's some catalysts in this series, I think. I think guys like Joe Mutombo is going to be huge for Maris. He's going to play a 2-way role. Roshan Bullard, we've talked about him a bunch. He's going to play a big role. He can do a lot for that team. Those are kind of Swiss Army knives for that team. Ryder Register for BT at 27, who kind of fills.
He might throw in all 3 games if they need.
It's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to see him. You're going to see him in the lineup. You're going to see him in the pen. He might start game 3 if they need it. You know, like, he's going to do everything for this team. Aiden Pack the same way. He can fill a bunch of roles, whether it's starting or relief. You can put him in the lineup. He can give you a bunch of power from the right side as well. So I think these teams match up really well. There's a ton of pieces that kind of like cancel each other out. So it's just who comes through at the right time. And I think it's going to be really fun to see. I think we're going to have somebody there at that one. So I think we're kind of fired up to see how that one plays out, especially with a chance to go 3 games in that one.
Yeah, and I think coming into this, I think Blessed Trinity, they love these type of games. You know, we were over at Parkview for that one. You know, a couple other ones earlier in the year at Georgia Dugout Club, but guys like Contreras and Pack feed off that. Caden Dawson, Kiz, Zagrin, you know, those type of guys feed off that. And the same thing with Maris, you know, Richardson, Sheeler, they want to compete too, both future gamers for us. You know, they're not afraid of the spotlight. Richardson has really came into his own on the mound after getting over his football injury. So
John Loudon has some sneaky fire in his game as well, and he's been playing big. Noah Garrick and Jack Ewert, Wofford commits for them, have been just really good, steady players that just like you kind of forget about, and they come in the game and go 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs, and you're like, oh, that's why. And they put up 10 runs. So again, I think it's going to be really, really fun. I think that's got a chance to be as good as that series below it there. That altitude in North Oconee is another one that's just on my mind a ton this week.
Yeah, 2 powerhouses. Both have been in this situation numerous times. Cooper Underwood was it. You know, I haven't really chased some of the older guys throughout the seasons the last couple of years, and obviously Cooper being one of our bigger draft names potentially coming up this year. It was unbelievable. It was. I
haven't had you that fired up about pitcher in a while.
Yeah, up to 94, 2 breaking balls that were pretty much unhittable. You know, I can't remember. I think he struck out maybe 9 or 10. I think he has double-digit strikeouts in nearly every start he's had this year. You got GMs of pro programs coming into town for him, so he's fired up. He looks completely in control. He's going like long holds, 0-2 bangers with a guy on second to strike guys out. Like, he just looks in complete control. So it was really fun to watch. You know, I remember throwing him out there. He said he didn't want to hit in junior future games. And so he was like, I just want a PO. Can I go pitch right now? I'm like, sure, jump out there. And he's like 72, 75, and he keeps us in a big game, striking out a few guys, and now he's 90-94. So it's a fun one for me to see. That Altoona lineup is senior heavy. You get Cooper Slayton or Parker Hope in the mix, you know, with a junior and a sophomore in Hope. But other than that, it's all seniors that are ready to go out with a bang. Cruz Paul kind of leading the way for those guys. Had like 3 or 4 hits in that short kind of game and a half I was at against Harris County. Avery, I know you're high on them. You know, shout out to them even, you know, getting into that second round. Caden Dimitri looked awesome, going kind of toe-to-toe with Underwood there for a bit, popped to 90, which was a PR for him. He was super fired up about that. You know, a lot of pitchability from him. He's going to be one to really watch here in the next few years. And then jumping over to North Oconee, it's similar type matchup for them, I think. I haven't got to see them this year. I know you have, Ian. I think Sam Clower has been pitching really well for them as of late. and then they got a lot of pieces in the lineup too. But what are some pieces in that North Oconee lineup you're keeping an eye out for?
that pitching depth, like we mentioned with Cartersville, I think it's very similar with North Oconee. Like you mentioned with Sam Flower, obviously Wyatt Bull behind him. You have an SEC commit in Noah Allen who can step on the mound and can give you 95 with a bender at any time. Ryan Trout, we've talked about a few times in the podcast, has been up to 88 with a really good slider, pitchability through the roof with him. Really has tremendous arm speed and can really step in with kind of a low heartbeat in any moment, whether it's starting or relief. He kind of is that he's kind of a chill guy, and he kind of brings that mentality to the mound, but then it has fire with pitchability behind it. So I think they have the pieces. Connor O'Mara has been really good this year. Landon Dykes is getting hot at the right time as well. He's showing a big glove behind the plate, and he's hitting for power. So I think those two guys are going to be huge for the lineup against Altoona. If they can get the Game 1 win, it's a whole different series. But obviously, you have to beat Cooper Underwood in Game 1, and that's a tall task. I don't think he's lost this spring. Obviously, they went undefeated in region, I believe, or they might have lost the first game and then went undefeated past that. But you got to beat Cooper in Game 1 if you want any chance in this series, I feel like. That's really the only way North Oconee wins. But I think they have some veterans in that lineup, some experience, and a ton of pitching to make it happen if they do get past Game 1.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've really talked about some, not predictions, but what it takes to win in these series. We've seen these teams a bunch. The playoffs are here now. It's not like we're seeing these teams for the first time. We know what they can do. So, this is really
at Altoona helps that one. Those are both two fan bases that are really. And dude, I haven't been over to Altoona in a while. So much foul ground there that kind of shakes things up a bit from a running perspective. Our guy, why am I blanking? Shortstop for Altoona,
Anthony Planetta.
Yeah, Planetta, and he almost had 2 runs without putting a ball in play. He walked, steal, overthrow third base, score to lead off Game 1, and he almost did it again his second time up.
He's just a gamer, though, man.
Yeah, he almost scored twice without doing that. So that's something to keep an eye on too. Obviously, Altoona knows how to play at their own park. North Oconee, that's got to come into play. You got to have a really good defensive catcher there. Dykes back there should be good for him. So yeah, really big matchups all across this 4A board. Looking forward to that. 3A, this is one that a couple of these matchup I've been really looking forward to. Ian, you were able to be over there at Pickens. Harlem able to kind of fend off Whitewater in that 3-game series, giving them their first kind of scare or first loss, right?
First loss, not even a scare. First loss of the year. They won 3 games there.
But they bounced back, obviously, and now they face up rematch against Pickens. I know Pickens is ready to go for this one. This is the rematch from last year when they had Schaus, when they had Rice. Rice, AJ was pretty much unhittable for you, and you got to see him for 4 hours with a rain delay.
Yeah, it was kind of the most ridiculous pitching performance I've seen this spring. So he came out Game 2. Obviously, we'll start things off. Christian Starks was awesome in Game 1, getting the start for Pickens. Went 6. The pitchability was through the roof, created a ton of soft contact and easy outs. Was throwing frisbee sliders, mixing in a changeup, landing backdoor. The fastball was 80-82. He could really land it wherever he wanted, and just had confidence on the mound, knew the defense was going to work behind him. So that was big for him. The lineup continues to hit for them as well. Cade Sutton came through big. Cam Jenkins had a big knock as well. They continue to just work quality at bats. I think everybody had a 5 or 6 pitch at bat in the lineup during the 2 games. They're going to see pitches. They're not going to chase. We've talked about before. I think the whole lineup hit 350 or 330 throughout the spring. Dawson Boogie looked really good in 3-hole. He's kind of flourished this spring for them, and he's been in the 5-hole as a sophomore first baseman for them. But he's now moved into the 3-hole, and they're asking a lot from him, and he's coming through at the right time. Had a pull side single for 2 RBI. But yeah, let's get back to AJ. Came out in the first inning, gave up a single and a double for an RBI real early in the first inning. It was probably the first time I've seen him get barreled up. Nearly went out. Mason Calhoun sat on some spin and carried a ball probably 6 inches off the top of the wall to the pull side for a double. So he was down 1-0, kind of locked in after that, sat down 7 in the first 3 innings. And then we got hit with this phantom giant storm out of nowhere for an hour and I believe 7 minutes. But they have a full indoor at Pickens, so I was kind of wondering, is there a chance he stays warm and we get to see him? And like, sure enough, that's what happened. And he came back out even more disgusting than he was when he left. He was throwing 5 pitches. He had a fastball was up to 92 into the 7th. He struck out 17 in total. Retired 13 out of the last 14 guys, including a 4K inning on a drop third strike. The only guy he allowed on base was a hit by pitch on the first batter out of the rain delay. So the stuff was as good as it gets. I've seen from him. The breaking ball was kind of wherever he wanted it. He generated, I think, 17 whiffs on the night. I was mixing the cutter at 82, 87 as well, which was just brand new for me. I know you've seen it before, Huddy, but that's a new pitch for him that he could really land on the outer half whenever he wants. So he can just sit on that, and then he'll jump in there at 79, 82 with the slider and just really freeze you or get you to whiff out of the zone and make you chase. So the stuff's as good as it gets. It's probably top 3 righty in the class for me right now. It's kind of made that jump this spring. He's holding velo. We've talked about the season numbers. I think that's like 120 Ks or so, maybe more. I don't know what he struck out in the first playoff game, but it's a silly number of Ks he's had this spring. He went in with 102 going into the playoffs. So it's probably upwards of 130 plus now for him on his junior season. Obviously a future gamer for us. But yeah, having that kind of arm heading into Harlem, a team that's won 30 plus games this year and last year, the playoff rematch, having a Final Four bid on the table, I think AJ is going to be juiced. And then this entire team is ready, and they have the coaching and depth to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I will say, just to mention, I got a chance to see it last year, but they have a manager named Jake. And I believe he's going through a little bit right now, so be sure to keep him in your thoughts. He's the guys over at Pickens have done some really cool stuff for him.
He's the energy, bro. He brings the juice for that team, and they go all out for that guy. So it's
it's like Jake, and then they call him Home Run King. So keep him in your thoughts. They do really cool stuff with him every year. It's a lot of fun to see. He's super pumped in their dugout. Rematch there, going to be a lot of fun. Moving on down, man, Jefferson. What about Jefferson coming into this thing? It was a team we liked at Georgia Dugout Club. We were kind of worried about some arm depth. Obviously had Eston at the top. You got Tavares mixed in there. A couple other younger guys their coach really likes. We know about the lineup in Prim, and Ryan Reed seems to be hitting the ball really well right now. But they beat a tough Oconee County region opponent and find themselves in the Elite Eight versus Troup County.
Yeah, Prim coming through big as well. I know you mentioned Rod Prim. I think Prim had a game-tying home run, I believe, in the 7th in the series as well, and had another one in game 3 as well. So was locked in this series, or I think game 2, excuse me. They came back and won game 2. So I had home runs in both games, I believe. He'll probably correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, he's hitting the ball really well. Obviously, they have Tavares getting a big start from Eston, knowing he can give you 7 innings in battle. I know he had to work through some traffic in that one and being able to compete and get through some stuff and to give you 7 and give you a win against a huge team that he's had to see a few times this spring. So he knew what he had to face, knew he had to do.
That's tough. For a hitter, that's great. For a pitcher, that's no fun.
Yeah, it's not easy, Like they got the biggest scouting report they can have on you, so they know what you're going to do, and to go out there and go complete and that one earn a win for your team is huge. And now they roll into Troup County with some confidence. Obviously, Troup's a good squad, but I think you can't count this Jefferson team.
It's a good matchup. I think they match up really well. They got, Troup has Davis Monkus, big arm for them. Jefferson has Eston. Lineup wise, I think they match up pretty well with one another. So that should be a fun one there. North Hall Bluff. I've honestly, ever since the bracket came out, I've been waiting for this one. Bluff was a team that we've really liked over the years. Surprisingly, I have not gotten a chance to see them this year. So that one's circled for me. North Hall, a lot of fun. Branson Crawford. I think he had a couple bombs in this last series, shut out on the mound. So,
as well.
Yep, that one's going to be really fun. Those guys know each other. You know the atmosphere over there at Bluff. You've been in North Hall, right? For a game?
No, I haven't been in North Hall yet.
That's just for that showcase, right? Man, it's going to be packed too. Those umpires better be on their A game as well, because both those sides will let you know about it. Avery, you've been up there to North Hall. You know how that environment is.
I've been to Bluff and Hall this spring, and it's
Bluff's a pretty intense environment as well. They packed that place out too, man.
Yeah, and both two of the well-respected coaches in the state, in Coach Flo and Coach Kemp. So that one's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that one. Last one here, Mary Persons, Peach County. Peach County took down Bainbridge. Peavy kind of had his typical start, walked a few guys, but still had those strikeout numbers where he wanted them. They face a Mary Persons team who's really came on strong as of late. Brady Chrisman has kind of gave this team some new life, getting back into the lineup. He's hit a couple balls that kind of disappeared into the night. I've kind of seen a couple of those here recently. We know how hard he can hit a ball. So look for that one. That's another team. Those guys know each other. They play, travel ball and stuff with one another. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. Mary Persons is another sleeper type team that we had on our radar early in the year. They beat Adairsville, Upson Lee, and now we face a Peach County team. So keep an eye on that one. I think that one could be a good one. If you're Peach, I think you got to get the win with Peavy, just with the way Mary Persons has been playing as of late. But man, Peach is a really strong team. We had a guy over there to watch some of that Bainbridge game, and DJ Hudson. Who else was over there? Caden Thompson, Scout Willingham. So that I think they're going to match up really well with one another.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one there. And Mary Persons, I think this is gonna be the toughest competition they face so far in the playoffs with this Peach team. So being ready to face a PV guy in game one is gonna be big for them.
Yep. All right, 2A coming up on the hour here. We got 3-4 more to go. We'll start rolling through these. We love talking about these guys, obviously, or we wouldn't be sitting here rambling about them for hours and hours. So yeah, we love talking about this stuff. It kind of gives us a chance to recap it too. I haven't really got a chance to talk to Ian and Avery much since those Thursday games. So it's good catching up on all these. We saw some smaller school stuff, so we'll kind of have some more breakdowns here in these next couple classes. Morgan County, Appleton County. We talked about these guys before. It's two of the bigger names in this class going toe-to-toe with one another. I don't think you can ask for much more in an Elite Eight matchup. I think they match up pretty well with one another. Morgan County gets that kind of upper hand, I think, with a shutout arm like Tillery, and then you got Hudson Reed leading that lineup. So I'll look for those two guys to be big for them. Nathan Nance had a big week last week. He's a guy that we've really liked over the years. So it's good to see him getting rolling.
Getting some pro interest as well there, which is pretty cool to hear. I've been hearing his name floating around a little bit, so that's awesome to hear that. Yeah, that's a big one there. Ty Tillery has been as good as he's ever been, like we've talked about. So having him rolling right now into that start is gonna be big. I think they get that start at home, I believe. I could be wrong on that.
Let's check it. Yep, Morgan County is home.
Yeah, so that quality of that group that's played together is going to obviously be packed out with fans. So I think that'll be a good environment in that one. Obviously, Appleton County's got to travel, I believe, a good 4 hours. Baxley is a journey. I'd made that journey last year. It's actually where I got my first speeding ticket in Georgia, because those small towns have the craziest traffic laws I've ever seen. But anywho, that's another story. But yeah, shout out to the Appleton County boys making that trip. That's going to be a fun series. I know some people that are heading out to watch that one. I think it's going to be a competitive 2 or 3 games, I believe.
Yeah, and then we got Franklin County, Stevens County. These two, this is in region, right, for these guys?
I believe so, yeah.
So there we go again. Pitchers, hitters.
Well, it's 18 teams. So what can you do? It's a huge region. But
definitely. So yeah, that's a good one there. Obviously, Ty Peoples leading the way for Franklin. We've kind of touched on that before.
Yeah, they got really hot in that series. I think they scored 25 runs unanswered, which is big time.
Yep. 13-10. Yep, 2 shutouts. So that's big momentum coming in. Stevens County took down Redan 4-2, 2-1. That's a big win for them. That's going to get some momentum for them coming into that one. Redan's a really competitive team. They run really well. They score a lot of runs. So that's our guy Matthew Evans continues to roll for them, right? He had a huge week, last week and a half ago?
Yeah.
First round.
11 stolen bases or something silly. Yeah, it was crazy.
Insane. Yeah, so that's a big win for Stevens County, matching up with Franklin. That'll be a good one. Moving on, Pierce County took down Cook 8-7 and 3-0. They take on Crisp, who took Columbus 3 games. So that's a little bit of an upset there. With Columbus and Chris coming in as the 22 seed. Took them 3 games, ended up getting the final 10-6 against a really well-experienced Columbus team. So I think that keeps some momentum. in this class, I'm eyeing this Callaway Rockmart one. We've talked about Rockmart a lot. We know what they have in Trey Luke and Hunter Atkins, Nealon, Yagu. You know what you're going to get with those guys. I think they're one of the favorites in this class, but Callaway's been playing really good ball as of late, led by Blake Harrington. Avery, I know you've touched on them a little bit. Anything?
Yeah,
I've
been showing
both
some
these
love.
guys.
I've been showing some love to Slade Hunt over the past couple of episodes. I just saw he threw a no-hitter against Drew Charter. Just a really good ability righty in front of Harrington, so that's a really good 1-2 punch for them.
Yeah, and I mean, what you've seen, this Rockmart lineup. You've seen Callaway. I haven't got a chance to see Callaway this year. I do know some of those guys in that lineup. So outside of Slade and Harrington on the mound, obviously that's where it's got to start for Callaway. But where do you see this lineup, squaring off against two of the better lefties in the state?
You've got LaShawn Gates at the bottom. He does a really good job of flipping that lineup over. He's really good at short as well. And then Luke Barnett, I think, is his catcher for them. 3-hole, he's solid bat.
Right. Yep.
I think his last name. And then
you should name the kids right. I was wrong when spelled kids wrong last names last week. So you're doing better than me. So I'm proud of you.
I don't want to butcher that.
It's all right. I put you on the spot there.
What he gets, man.
I know, right? Good matchup. Good matchup there. Needless to say, we're eyeing that one. Like we said, Rockmart coming in as one of the big guys in this class, but we're into a Callaway team that's playing really good ball as of late. Moving along, the good old private, which we've talked a lot about. We like this bracket a lot. I got some guys saying, "Oh, why you're over at the private tonight? You should be at Edouard or Carroll, like a bigger name." I'm like, dude, I've been waiting for this Northside Christian Holy Innocents matchup for a while. Like, I was
electricity. Electricity in that one.
And you got a chance to see Game 3 of that. I got the doubleheader, and it has been one of the better series of the whole. I pretty much got a doubleheader myself. Like 111. It was getting delayed because of light. Yeah, it was so sketchy at this point because again, it was about 8:15. We're going, it's probably about 8:00, and umps meet. It's getting dusky. There's no lights at Holy Innocents. We started at 4:30. The trees are over in left field.
The trees are over. The sun's already been gone for an hour, so it's already getting a little bit sketchy. They let them roll on, thankfully. Obviously, Northcott Christian comes out in the end there with the big Hudson Newell. He had a rope single in the center after working a long at-bat.
Had a great doubleheader for me, too.
Yeah, had a great – he hit the ball hard in all 3 at-bats. Riley Hutchinson was really big. I mean, J.D. Ofterhide. I don't know if it can't not talk about him. Down 1-0 in the second, monster bomb. Obviously, they have a short porch and left there, but it was a no-doubter to left center. Down 3-1 in the sixth. Does it again and goes even longer for this one. Brought so much energy to this team. He really gave them the chance to be in this game. Kind of brought the energy back. They got some huge outings on the mound from guys like – who was on the mound for them? Excuse me. Will Bartholomew and Max Bowman, a junior and a freshman, to close it out for them after Carson Bruce started for them. Both of them went shutout on the mound, really held them in check for the last 4 to 5 innings in that one. Obviously – when you're going 8, 9, 10, 11 innings, things get kind of sketchy. And to keep guys off base and that Holy Innocents lineup that you've seen that really hit this week, Grant Bradley continues to look awesome in every look we've seen.
That was my first look. That was really
he looked good for you. He followed up with that. I went and saw him earlier this year. He looked awesome. Hit a bomb to dead center. So he continues to swing it well. Sophomore is really kind of coming into his own, hitting the 3-hole for that team. So I think that's going to be big for them going forward. Obviously, they didn't pull it out in this series, but I think that team and that lineup has a ton of upside going forward, whether it's next year or the following.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really fun matchup for me. Amari Griffin was great. It was 2 swings from him. It was JD, and then shout out to Brody Brandt. Brody Brandt went off in the first.
He was the winning run in the 11th. Came through with a pull side or backside knock before Newell.
Yeah. He had a bomb. He had a bomb in the game I was at. I think he had 3 more hits and a sac fly for a go-ahead run at one point. So he was seeing it really well. He was a junior future gamer for us, caught an injury, and now he's really back, and he's
where
really
did he play
helping
for you defensively?
second in game one.
Yeah, he had he played second for me on game 3. And I guess this is the first year he's ever played second.
Correct.
And was making plays, like moving in every direction, chased down some balls over his shoulder, kind of did it all, kind of filled that gamer role for this team, which you need in the playoffs. Will do it all, and the bat's coming alive at the right time. So yeah, that's huge for that team as they move into a big time matchup with Prince Ave here in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, and I was quickly mentioning Amari looked great. It was 2 swings. JD and Brody both kind of got into him. He was up to 89 early, struck out the side in the first. I think their plan was kind of to pull him early with a chance to potentially come back. Obviously, that's really hard to do, especially from a sophomore. But I was really impressed with the way he swung the bat. Getting to see him for the first time this year. He had 3 hits. Taylor Fuller, I know, had a great day for you. Same with me. He was just missed a couple to the pull side. Truett Stafford looked awesome. He was on the mound in game 2, and he kind of left one over the plate to a senior center fielder for Holy Innocents, and he had a solo shot on him, and that was pretty much it in game 2. But he looked great at the plate as well. So, man, we talked about this North Cobb Christian team. We kept them in our kind of power rankings in and out throughout the whole year. We kind of felt good about them, and now they take on a tough Prince Ave team. But I think they match up well. It's hard to keep these North Cobb Christian guys off base. We talk about all these younger guys, but you got Riley Hutchison, Spears Martin, and guys, the guys that can straight up hit.
And Austin Tambora has not been hot so far in the playoffs. So if that bat starts to get rolling at the top of that lineup, things get really scary for that team, and they can start putting up runs in a hurry. Obviously, it's him at the top, and then you have guys like Newell and Hutchison right behind them who can leave the yard really at any time. So having those two and having him on base, having him run around and do whatever he wants and cause havoc on the base path will be huge.
Played a great center field when I was there too.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a full gamer. Yeah, he's going to give you a 60 glove in center. At the top, he's going to give you a 60 run tool as well. So just getting him on base is going to be huge. And once he starts rolling, it's how that lineup just starts to look well oiled. Yeah,
for sure. Next one here, Providence Christian traveling down to Calvary Day, right? I think I was looking at that. Private, got to travel down to Calvary Day, so that mixes some things up. Avery, I'll kind of let you roll. You were at that Providence Christian Kings Ridge matchup. Man, this Providence Christian team can really hit.
Yeah, they're legit. I love Providence, but they gave up 4 runs to Kings Ridge across the series, and that's just kind of mind-boggling because that Kings Ridge offense can just explode at any given moment. Yeah, and it's really led by the ace of the staff, Owen Harris, 26, uncommitted arm for them. Struck out 10 across 5. I think he's got a really bright future with curveball and changeup. I think those could be 2 future advanced offerings. And then AJ Cantrell through the second game for them. He went no hits, 8 Ks across 6 shutout innings. And it's super deceptive. It's 80-82 from a 6-7. Kind of higher 3/4 slot.
Looks like it's coming at you, and then
it gets on you. And he's 0.67 ERA on the year, 0.72 WHIP, and then a 148 batting average against.
That plays for sure. And then what about your this electric sophomore arm? I saw you got a longer look at him. What was his name?
Kel Shellnut. He was
Shellnut.
84, 86, up to 87, and it just gets on you. It's heavy arm side run through the
kind of a little bit different of a delivery with that high leg kick, but I mean it's it looks pretty whippy. It looks like it sneaks up on you.
Yeah, and then he's got a sharp slider to pair with the fastball that gets.
And that's tough coming out of that slot for sure.
Yeah. It's 72, 74 slider, and it plays really well with the fastball.
Nice. Yeah. And well, that's going to be a good one down there. I mean,
as well.
Another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been one that we've really liked over the years with Divine, and it's really coming into his own. The powers numbers are starting to skyrocket. So keep an eye out for him next year. I mean, that's the type of guy that sneaks in, as a potential draft guy down the road. He reminds me of shortstop for the Rays that I was at Chipola with, Jose Caballero. Really reminds me of him, just his swing, the way he plays, shortstop position. So, keep an eye on him the next couple of years. All right. Lovett versus Wesleyan. I think this one is a pretty big one. I did not get a chance to see Lovett this year. I know, Avery, you got to see them. Did you see them?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I saw them both.
Yeah, y'all saw them too. With this Wesleyan lineup, you kind of know what you're getting with Carter Hayes, Bryce Gillis, Knox Bingham, just to name a few, Grayson McCollum. I think if you're Lovett, you got to beat McCollum, right? That's kind of the name of the game with all these guys with a big arm. Obviously going, I'm assuming game one, but for Lovett, that's probably a key piece there for them. Anything else kind of touch on that one?
Yeah, I like sophomore right-handed pitcher Luke Darcy for them. He's one of the top options out of the pen. Could just be a really Swiss Army knife type of player for them in the rotation. He's mid-80s and then just rips off frisbee sliders. It's pretty electric.
Yeah, yep, that'll be a good one. Keep an eye on that one. Savannah Christian, GAC. Avery, you got to pop over there for that game 3 to what seemed to be really electric.
Yeah, 5 bombs. So the ball just flies in there, and it was fun.
How'd you stay focused with 5 bombs?
And then the weather picked up like the last half inning, and
it got nasty, dude. It was so fast. Yeah, I had to beat it home that night.
Yeah.
But
Zach,
go ahead.
Yeah, Zach Coons closed it out for them, and he
little mound action from the shortstop.
Yeah, that fired me up.
And he got into a little bit of a jam, and he found his way out of it. So it was
Jared Gibbons. That's been your guy for a little bit. You liked him in the summer. He looked like he had a couple bombs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yeah, went backside and just showed off the strength in the frame and just carried it out. They were actually down 3-2 or 4-3, and he hit a 2-run bomb to put them up, and they kind of just took it and ran with it. But I really loved Matthew Lazarus.
Okay.
27.
Hit for me, and I saw him too. Yep.
Does a really good job of flipping that lineup over. He hits the ball really well to all fields, and he's just extremely compact, just twitchy hands through the zone. And
the glove really can play like anywhere in the field too.
Yeah, really low heartbeat.
And the thing to look out for GAC traveling down to Savannah Christian, they're 2 arms that have been pretty steady Eddie all year. Did not have their best stuff, and the lineup stepped up for them. So look for Joyner and Watkins to bounce back against Savannah Christian. Both of those dudes are competitor types that I'm sure aren't satisfied with that outing. So I'm sure they're both going to be on a mission down in Savannah.
And Jacoby Bowens continues to swing the bat really well, man. And I think he had another barrel for you. I think he hit a bomb in the first round as well. So having that bat swinging well in the middle of that lineup can change the game in any instant for them.
Yeah, and I was going to say freshman catcher Pierce Wilson.
Yeah, he had. I think that was his second bomb of the series, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah, he just missed one for me when I was at Dawson County. But yeah, really like the way he played behind the dish. He's definitely going to be a name that we circled for the summer to check back in on after pretty much starting all year for GAC and being a big piece in that lineup. I mean, GAC, the thing is like GAC came in as the 15 seed, and that's just so like they were in an extremely tough region, and now they jump into this private classification.
I was thinking this private classification probably could have been even more gnarly with some of the teams that like are in the 4A and 3A that are private schools, I think it could have been even crazier. Like if a BT was in there, we're like, what do you do against that? Like if you played like 2A baseball all year, and then like, oh yeah, now you got to face BT. It's like, come on. But like,
and it's a job. It's a job for the coaches too. Like especially if you're GAC and you're wanting to do your homework on these guys, you don't have any info on them from anybody playing them in the year, and then you get
6 hours
into
away.
the thing. Yeah, so I like them down there. I think they got a shot. Playing down in Savannah, like we mentioned, changes the game. Hot, muggy, grip, all that good stuff comes into play. All right, last couple here. We'll try to keep this under an hour and a half. We're cranking out all this stuff, which is insane.
3 hours and 2 weeks on here, man. We're just enjoying the playoff baseball.
A lot of good matchups in this one. Vidalia was a team we looked at early in, kind of our previews to keep an eye on. Gordon Lee versus Washington County. Yep.
That Gordon Lee Washington County one is electric, I think.
I mean, if you get Goodwin versus Ty Mobley, that's like one of the better matchups in the whole playoffs.
Sneaky, yeah.
That's both going to be low 90s arms, two of the bigger humans in the state, both probably 6'6", 210. So don't want a brawl to break out down there. That might get crazy. Just kidding. But yeah, that's going to be a really fun one. That's one I would really like to go to be honest. Not getting to see.
Hey, guess what? We're all on the same day, so you can't.
Yeah, I know.
Just
brutal.
I have to push my pain on everyone.
Yeah, so I think they match up well. I really want to see what else Washington County had besides Mobley and Jenkins, but that's going to be a good one there. Gordon Lee's another really fun park, really good atmosphere there, so that'll be a fun playoff matchup. Toombs County versus Vidalia. We talked about Vidalia getting the kind of upset over Social Circle. It was a team that we kind of talked about early on with Veer Patel, Caden Ridge Nance, to name a few. They're kind of rolling a bit. Moving on, Pepperell versus Bleckley. Pepperell got the sweep over Bremen. Pepperell took them down 11-1. Carter Allen probably bounced back for them, only taking the 2-0 win in game 2. And now they match up with a Bleckley County that's got some pieces that have really been throwing well. Clayton, what's his name? Clayton Beck went 9 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 10 Ks last week for him. So that's a good matchup, I think, in this class to definitely keep an eye on.
I got a chance to see Pepperell early in the season, and
that's right.
Cade Middleton, I think, gives them a chance to win on any given night. He's a senior arm for them, upper 80s. Tight slider to pair with it.
And it's like a lot of run, hard to hit.
Crazy movement. He struck. Yeah, when I saw him, he struck out 12 across 6. So he's just going to give you a chance to win it any night.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, set Bremen at the tough lineup to one run there. Definitely. Last one here. I think this is probably the biggest one of this class. You got Model versus Jeff Davis. Two of the teams that kind of sat at the top of this classification all year. Model was on the crazy run there for a bit and ran into Pepperell. So we got a matchup potentially looming. That could get pretty wild if they end up matching up. But you run into a tough Jeff Davis team that's pretty experienced with a big win over Worth County. So I think this one's going to be really good. Coach Patch does a really good job with those guys over there with Grodman. Who else? You got Patch on the mound playing first, left-handed stick for him. That's going to be really big.
Jared Torhune, that's how you say his last name. Has been big for them. Left-handed bat in the lineup for Model. Who else do they have on that team? 20 minutes since I saw him.
I know, I'm blinking a bit. I saw him against Bremen. Really liked what they had. Oh, Ripken West. Have Ripken West at the top for them. Really strong bat for them. I think that's the bigger one in this classification. Keep an eye out for that. Moving on to the last one. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. This has been fun. We only have a couple more of these to talk about, so we got to get as much in as we can. Last one here, Class 1, Division 2. Baconton gets a pretty big win over Irwin County. Irwin County kind of sat at the top of that classification with Baconton all year. But obviously Baconton's playing really, really good ball. Now they match up against a tough Wilcox County team with two really big lefties that we've talked about in Wilcox and Johnny Nutt. So I think they match up pretty well. I think that's the bigger one in this classification. Charlton versus ECI. Charlton, another team that's kind of sat at this top of this class all year. So ECI is another one that kind of snuck in there, kind of 7, 8, 9, 10 throughout the year. So I think they probably match up pretty well with one another. Metter, I think, probably considered an upset over Crawford County. Metter came in as they were 2 seed in that region. Crawford was the 1 seed. So, probably a little bit of an upset there. Crawford, like we mentioned, I got to see them last year rolling out like 10, 11 guys. Hammock just shoving for them. Hammock hitting bombs left and right. So good stuff there for Metter, getting the win over them, facing off against a Lanier County team. What did they finish? Lanier. Yeah, they were the 1 seed in that region. That's right. So they had 2 big wins over Seminole County, 13-3, 10-0, and now they face off against Metter. Last one here, Bowden, a team that we definitely have some guys on that we like, facing up against a Lake Oconee Academy team.
Correct.
So pretty wide open here, I think. A lot of good matchups in this class. We'll kick, obviously, all these matchups off on May 7th, Wednesday. We're excited to get out in full force. Like we said, it's going to be some tough decisions. We want to be at some of these, 2, 3A matchups, but man, it's going to be so tough.
No, it's not. It's not easy choices at all. I'm already, like I said, been stressing it for a week, and we're still not even here yet.
Well, we got 2 days left. We'll pump some stuff out for you guys. We'll get it decided. We'll roll out playoff performers, which obviously was a pretty big hit. Last week, we got in over 100 names in that playoff performers list. Get a chance to highlight you guys with those big round of 32 performances. Still have time to send in those Sweet 16 performances. We try to kind of tally some of the ones that we were at, and then we'll try to start combing through and finding some. We're going to miss some. We're not going to get them all. So just be sure to let us know. We'll get you added in there. We want to try to highlight as many guys as we can for that. Ian, we didn't even get to really talk about it too much, playoff baseball, but Ian dropped the all underclass team last week, which was a lot of fun.
Shout out to my underclass boys. Yeah, I enjoy writing those every year. All upper class will be out this upcoming week. Obviously, tough decisions on both of those teams. I wanted to try to highlight a lot of guys. There's some teams that have made the team the last 2 years. So obviously, shout out those guys. Shout out to Liam Collier, man. Made the utility spot, but the year he's had has been ridiculous. I think he's hit 550 as a freshman and as a sophomore in the last 2 years. The hit tool is just as good as it gets at this level. He just uses the whole field with ease, kind of paces that Locust Grove lineup at any time. So I think it's been huge for him. And I think he's in for a big summer campaign that can really open eyes to a lot of schools for him.
Yeah, definitely there. Yeah, super excited about this 27-28 class. It's been a lot of fun seeing you guys all across the state in the spring. Like we said, those teams are no fun to put together. At the same time, they are fun to put together, but obviously we can't get everybody in there. We know we missed some guys here and there, but want to get out to see you guys. Come check us out this summer. Full summer schedule is already up. Obviously, tournaments at Lake Point rolling pretty much May, whatever that is, into May 29th, all the way to August 1st. Yeah, 28th, all the way to August 1st. So we'll kick things off on that 28th with the Lake Point Summer Open, and then we'll roll into top prospect games. Underclass is probably going to be sold out this week. I'm going to have to start closing off some positions there, start getting those teams put together. So if you're not in that, be sure to jump in there in the next couple of days. I'll probably have to close that off until I kind of do a deep dive and see where we're at with teams and positions and all that good stuff. Top prospect games, upper class, June 10th and 11th. That one's going to be huge this year with the new recruiting rule coming out. Obviously, a ton of 26s still left in the state of Georgia. It's going to be a highly recruited event. Coaches are already reaching out to us about it, trying to get rosters early so they can start making their plans for the summer. So be on the lookout for that one. June 12th, we head to Savannah for our very, not first. I guess first. I think it got rained out when we tried to go down there like 5 years ago. So glad to be back in Savannah. Want to see, Calvary Day, Savannah Christian, get those guys up and get to see more of them. June 17th, headed over to Foley Field, Georgia, brand new facility. Going to be a lot of fun to be there. Having those Rising Stars events there as well. Trying to finish out our junior Future Games team. What else? Future Games right around the corner. 27's going to start rolling a couple here, invites out here and there. Most of those will come right after top prospect games. Senior Future Games, same thing, right after top prospect games. We're going to try to fill those 12 spots of uncommitted 26s. So something to keep an eye on. 26s, obviously you got to be uncommitted for it. Well. Yep, super sophomore games, brand new event. We'll start pumping more stuff out on it once we finish up the high school year. But that's going to be August 2nd and 3rd at Lake Point. All the Southeast is going to be there. Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi. So we'll have a Team Georgia for that. Probably 20. Yep, two teams 25 for that. 28s and select 29s. So looking forward to getting that event up and running this year. Outside of that, guys, thanks for tuning in. This has been a lot of fun for these playoff episodes. We're glad Avery's getting to join us. Glad he's back from his foul ball experience at Loganville. Make sure our nets are good and tight for him when we get out there on Wednesday, wherever he's going to be at. I
was definitely feeling it on Wednesday at my game. I was fine at Loganville, and then when I went to South Paulding, I was just like,
Luckily, hey, you had chain leak at South Paulding, so that wasn't going to get you there. That's true. No, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in. I know we got a lot of guys talking, a lot of guys are listening, so it's been fun. Feel free to reach out with suggestions. Obviously, this is our first year doing this type of podcast together. We're going to clean it up in the future. We want to get an intro video. We want to get a better backdrop and all that good stuff. So more to come on this. Thanks for tuning in for this episode, and we will see you guys on Wednesday, wherever that may be.
Hey, let's have a week.
Have a week.
There it is. We'll see you guys.